can this little piece of metal solve my main problem with my Tenere 700? Today, we're gonna find out. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of my Tenere 700 build. I think we're on episode 3 now. On the last episode, we installed a lot of protection stuff from the guys over at AltRider. We're looking at the crash bars, we're looking at the belly pan and stuff like that. I think that was the last episode. I could be wrong. You guys will let me know in the comments down below. Regardless, today we're gonna be solving some usability problems that the Tenere 700 has with more parts from the guys over at AltRider. We've got a few parts. I'm gonna show you guys them in a second, and today we're gonna get them installed and see how they do on the motorcycle. So, should be pretty good. The install for the last stuff went really well. AltRider does a fantastic job, so I'm excited to get into it, and I got a lot of stuff to install. Let's get going. All right, so guys, here's all the stuff we're gonna be installing in today's video in random order. It's not gonna be the order we're gonna be installing it necessarily. So first up, we got upgraded foot pegs, absolutely necessary for the Tenere 700. Next up, we have variable windscreen risers, so we can move the windscreen in different positions if we want. Next up, we have the thing I was teasing in the beginning of the video. This is a variable height suspension lowering link for the T7. This is gonna help with that really tall seat height that the bike has. Then to kind of go with that lowering kit, we have this absolute unit of an adjustable foot stand, or adjustable side stand. Not only is it gonna be an adjustable side stand that's way more heavy duty, you guys will see when we get it installed, but it also increases the footprint of the actual kickstand. And then finally, we have what basically every motorcycle needs, and that is a fender eliminator kit, a very low-key fender eliminator kit setup. So really interested to see what that ends up looking like. And with all that being said, guys, I think we can get installing. It doesn't look like a lot of stuff, but I think a lot of things are going to have to be removed to make this stuff work. So let's get started. Also, this video is sponsored by the product that I probably get asked about the most on my Tenere 700, and that is my CHIGEE AIO 6. Before we get into today's install, I want to shout out the sponsor of this episode, and that is CHIGEE and their AIO 6 smart riding system. If you've been keeping up with the T7 build, then you probably remember when I installed this thing on a previous episode, and I gotta say, after spending more time with it, it is quickly becoming one of my favorite upgrades on this bike. The AIO 6 gives me Apple CarPlay, front and rear dash cams, tire pressure monitoring, and even Sentry mode for when the bike's parked. It basically turns my dumb adventure bike into a full-on smart system, no phone out, no wires everywhere, just clean, quick tech that works. Now, the cameras shoot at 1080p with built-in stabilization, and the screen itself is 44% larger than the last model and bright enough to see in direct sunlight, even through dust, which, let's be real, on a T7 is kind of constant. Plus, it has this wild lean angle display and GPS speed readout that's more accurate than the stock dash. And if you grab the LTE version, you even get remote notifications and live video feeds if your bike gets messed with. So, huge thanks to CHIGEE for sponsoring this episode. If you want to check out the AIO 6 for your own bike, I'll have it linked in the description down below. And yes, I am definitely going to be moving this from bike to bike with their quick release mount. Once you try it, you'll get it. Okay, back to the video. All right, so guys, let's start out from the front of the bike and just kind of work our way back. So these brackets are gonna get installed on here and allow me to raise and lower the windscreen. That way, if I'm doing a lot of highway on the way to riding off-road, I can adjust it, make it high, give me some more wind protection, and it just gives me some flexibility with what I want to do with the windscreen. I've watched the install video, seems pretty straightforward, so let's get it figured out. Okay, holy crap, that's so high. Can you guys see how high that is? It feels like it's like scratching. It even sounds like it. Maybe it just takes some time doing it back and forth to get it to be less like that. Yeah, I wish it was a little easier to do. But regardless, I have a adjustable windscreen now, so that's cool. Yeah, and that's definitely not going anywhere once you lock it in. It almost works better if you just hit it. Bro, look how freaking tall that can get. So imagine if I'm riding now and I'm on the highway, that is going to have wind go so much more over my head than it currently does. That I'm excited for more touring style stuff. So that'll be cool. I'll actually leave it in the tall position so I don't forget the next time I go ride. And I can be like, why the hell is there so much less wind? Okay, cool. Adjustable windscreen, done. All right guys, so next up we're gonna be installing the adjustable lowering link for the rear of the motorcycle. Basically what this piece is gonna allow me to do is either raise or lower the motorcycle's rear suspension. And I'll get a little close up for you guys. You can see on here, one, this piece of metal is immaculate. Everything is just, this is a very nicely designed piece of metal. Everything is, there's no sharp edges or anything like that. And I appreciate this about it, they made it idiot proof. So it has, here, I'll use a little camera. It has a little arrow that points to the front of the motorcycle. And then as you can see, you have options. You have, let me get it to where you guys can see it. You have -30, which you have to install like this. And they, look at the detail. They even put the -30 upright. Everything else is upside down. That gives you +12, that gives you -18. They literally made it idiot proof. How freaking cool is that? So I am gonna be doing this by myself, so it should be a little interesting. So I'm gonna get the bike jacked up, and that way I'll more easily be able to access that area down there. And then we'll see how hard this thing is to install. I do want to lower the motorcycle so I can get better ground clearance for me, just to give me more confidence while riding off-road. So my goal, I want to be installing it at -18. That's what I'm gonna go for today. So guys, before I install the lowering link, I'm gonna sit on the bike and put my feet on the ground, and that way we can judge how much extra or how much more like easily I can touch the ground from the stock one. This is with my weight and everything. All right, so this is me comfortably on the bike right now. This is like, my weight's on the bike, the suspension's compressed, and that's where I'm at. Keep focus on my legs and what my foot is at now. Ankles are kind of like at the peg. So that's where it is stock. So now let's go through the whole process of getting the linkage swapped out. Alrighty guys, you can probably see into here on the bigger camera, but we have the lowering links in there. We're at the -18 spot. Now, we're not done here, because when you adjust your rear suspension, in order for the bike to be balanced like it was previously, you now have to lower the front suspension. So right now, or before we installed this, my bike, you know, let's just say it was like this, but now we've lowered the rear, so now my bike sits differently. So now we're gonna have to lower the front to get us back to be even. There's a cool chart that they show you. So if you go +12, it says to raise your front suspension by a certain amount. If you're at -18 and -30, it tells you those specific amounts. So what we got to do now, go to the front of the motorcycle, loosen all of the clamps that hold the front forks, and then we'll have to lower the front forks and measure it very particularly to match this. So let's get moved over to the front and get that finally adjusted. doing this by yourself. Alrighty guys, now we've got all the lifts out of the way, and the front forks have been adjusted, the rear links have been installed, so we get to see how I fit on the bike now. I don't know if you guys can tell from the camera, but it already looks lower, which should, oh my goodness. That is insane what 10 millimeters of that thing will do, the 10 millimeter mark will do.
That's what she said.
I can now get so much more of my feet down, which is gonna be so much nicer if something happens on the motorcycle and it goes over, I'm gonna have so much more ability to hold it up before it, hits the ground. And getting off of it, so much easier, getting off and on, I guess, so much easier. Like I can tell based on where it is here, and this is just with these stupid Crocs on. So once I have my ADV boots on, I'll have even more purchase. I might be able to stand all the way up. I cannot wait to try this off-road. What else do we have to install? Oh, the Mac Daddy kickstand. Let's go get that thing going. All right guys, next up we have the adjustable side stand. This is gonna come in perfect to go with the lowering links, because if you lower the motorcycle and you use the same kickstand, the kickstand's now gonna keep the bike more upright, and so you have the risk of falling. What this does is allows you to adjust how much lean your bike has. It's really cool if you just loosen this little bracket off, you can loosen 2 little bolts and move this into different locations. So I'll loosen it up real quick. I'll show you what it looks like on the inside, and then we'll figure out where we need to put it height-wise. So you guys got all these slots that you can kind of pop it into. And then, of course, AltRider being AltRider, they make stuff very easy for you, especially us idiots. So they've labeled OEM, they've labeled +1 inch, -1 inch, -2 inches here. So if OEM's here, I want to be kind of in the middle right there, which means that's OEM. So that's slightly under OEM. I don't want 1 inch. I want whatever's right above 1 inch.
That's what she said.
There we go. That's about halfway through. This is 100% perfect. So this should put the bike back where it leans stock. Also, I should expect it from AltRider at this point, but they include a new spring, and they even put a freaking spring puller in your packaging. Like, what other company thinks about the customer so freaking much? By the way, AltRider does not pay for these videos, guys. They just send the parts out, and I just let you guys know what I feel about the parts, but like, it's just some companies just think about the end user, and some just really don't, so I really appreciate that. Jiminy Christmas. That was the hardest part, the kickstand? What is that? How is that a thing? How is a kickstand? Wow, that is so much stronger than the other one. Good on you, AltRider. Good on you. Guys, the kickstand should not have been that hard, and it was, but it's installed. Also, I have run out of time today, so We didn't get to the foot pegs. We didn't get to the tail tidy, but that's fine. I've got those things and more stuff to install. So we will do those on a different day. The kickstand is by far the hardest thing to install of all these things. Somehow, I would have thought all the suspension stuff would have been the hardest. Not the case. It's those big bolts on the underside. You have no space to work and your hands are just in there just banging up against. Such a pain, but regardless, it's installed. The quality of the parts is top level, so shout out to AltRider for just making really good parts. Do appreciate that. Very excited to go ride this. So, because of my filming schedule, I'm not gonna be able to install the rest of the stuff until I go ride. So I'm actually gonna get to test this out. You will see that on a future video. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna do it today because we have a thunderstorm happening right now. Anyway, so that's all. We got the T7 lowered at 12 millimeters, which I'm super excited about. Should make this bike a lot more manageable for me. We got the adjustable windscreen now, which is gonna make the bike better for touring, like highway use and stuff like that. And to match with the lowering of the overall motorcycle, we have the adjustable kickstand that we can now easily adjust. Now that it's installed, if I need to adjust it, I don't have to take the whole thing off. Thank God. I feel like we should have got farther than that, but stuff takes longer. It is what it is. If you guys want to watch more content on the T7, I will have a build playlist with all our T7 content in the description down below. Thank you guys for getting to this point in the video. It's the end of it. Shout out to AltRider for sending me all the stuff, and shout out CHIGEE for sponsoring this video. I'm exhausted and I'm going to go into my home now. Thank you for watching this YouTube video. If you want any of the parts we installed, I'll put them down there. You guys are awesome. Night night. Okay. I needed two hands. Or I needed somebody to help. All right, Leo, you're gonna use the spring puller. All right. I'm gonna pull the spring. All right, Leo, thank you for helping. He's strong. He's so strong. Strong.